how do we strike the balance between new and urgent? So some of the urgent things you said, there's an immediate basket or bucket. Like we have to attend to these, but there's also some long-term things that if we don't want to be left behind in our region and in the world, we need to attend to also. How do we strike that balance?
I think if we step back a bit, there are two changes in cadence about AI that we've felt. Number one, it's very pervasive. Unlike in the past, you need to be some sort of a scientist or engineer to actually use AI. Now you just log on, anyone can do it. And then the barrier to adoption is very low. You don't need to know programming, That's why I likened it to kind of the phenomena of automobiles. You don't need to be a mechanic to drive a car, and vice versa. And then the second aspect to it is it's pervasive and it's also generative. In the past, AI was used to interpret data. Now AI is used to create data, and that's a very different dynamic. It changes the way people treat data to begin with. It is best seen in the graphics and photography industry. Before you needed existing photos to fake them. Now AI generates completely original photographs in whatever style you want. So the urgency.
We'll have to get back to that use of the word original.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, where the urgency issue comes from. We're not used to AI being used in this manner and pervasively, which means that we need to change the cadence which we deal with it. And then the broader areas of application, because the floodgates have been open, no one's ever thought about kind of the extent of all of this stuff before. And that's why all these sectors are seemingly lighting up at the same time. Jobs, education, privacy. Before, AI was such a niche subject. Now it's completely everywhere. That's what, for me, is what's driving this.
Maybe we can take a step back and can ask you, Doc, what are some of the basic definitions that I think we should all agree on? Maybe what are some of the baselines that we should measure?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, generative AI is called such because it generates data. And I would say over time, that'll probably be the most popular use of AI. But there's also existing AI, we call it discriminative AI. It's more to interpret data, it's more to make predictions. It's actually, I would say, the AI that a lot of people don't realize is already there.
It's already there.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's in YouTube, it's in eBay.
It's on Waze.
It's on Waze, my favorite example. So that's the basic definition. If you're creating data with AI, that's generative. And then the other part is really pertaining to machine learning, right? The machine learning is really, if you have data, what do you do with that data? Apply some sort of math formula, and it comes up with some sort of solution. There is a specific type of machine learning that I think is going to impact our lives more often. And that's what's called reinforcement learning, which is basically the AI that beat the best Go player or the chess players. So these are AIs that learn with repetition, and they learn to beat something or solve for a goal. That's actually the fundamental building block, which is causing so much fear, but also so much possibility. Because now you have virtual assistants, they learn over time, they learn your habits. Self-driving cars will eventually learn your streets. That's all based on basically reinforcement learning. And that's also where the fear of safety comes from, because you can tell an algorithm to optimize in a very naive manner, and it will do things that you didn't expect. The classic example I used in the keynote was, you have an AI running a hospital, and you tell it, minimize cancer cases. It might just decide to kill all the cancer patients. Something like that.
Okay.
You need to be very careful.
I've seen that movie before.
Yeah, so we have to be very careful. And this is a long-standing problem, even before ChatGPT came out. But now it's in your face. It's something that affects you. Like our friend, Dr. Tehanki, had his CV manufactured by ChatGPT to his disappointment. So these are problems we never thought about before. But because of its generative nature, it's pervasive. It's affecting all aspects of our lifestyle, our society.
Can you also very quickly also talk about hallucinations as something that we must all be aware of?
Well, yeah, I think one of the biggest, I would say, disservice that this is OpenAI's fault, to be honest. We likened the chatbot to search engines, which, you search for something, it pops up. So we're used to kind of a retrieval system process for all of these systems. These chatbots are not retrieving anything. They're actually creating new text or new photos based on patterns it was trained on.
That's right.
And that means it's giving you something that looks probable, which without saying whether it's factual. And that's what's throwing everyone off. You ask, who is John Nery? It will give you a probable John Nery, assuming if your name is common enough or rare enough, without knowing if it's really true. And that's why even in the early talks I've been doing, I actually discourage that kind of use of chatbots. Don't just ask it blindly. Ask it to interpret an existing piece of information or text that you're sure of. And it seems to work better that way. But you can't stop people from prompting basically a chatbot. And this has a lot of effect, for example, in school. There was that lawyer who manufactured cases, didn't know that it was all fake.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We're not used to this kind of, these habits are being created as we speak with this kind of technology.